Good afternoon. Welcome to one of your favorite TV shows right here on KBN TV, the finest television. We are live on DSTV, channel 279, Go TV 27, Topstar 102, and live on our Facebook page, which is KBN TV. So today we're looking at an interesting topic right here on Labor Matters, Mentorship for Growth. That is what we are looking at today. I am your host as usual, Patricia Chilamko, and I'm looking forward just to have an interesting conversation with you, our viewers. And on Labor Matters, you know, we always with Mr. Owen Katongo Kabanda, who is Management and Leadership Advisor. Good afternoon, Mr. Kabanda.
Good afternoon, Patricia. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very fine.
Amazing. Mr. Kabanda is a speaker and a trainer who has trained various companies. He is also mentoring a lot of HR practitioners. So if you want to get in touch with him, please, you can go on his social media platforms such as Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Yeah. So if you want to get in touch with him, just follow him on all his social media platforms. So today, Mr. Kabanda is not alone in the studio. I think you've just observed that we have another beautiful woman with us today on Labor Matters. We're talking of Miss Ines Kamdole, who is human resource specialist with a passion for development of careers for young professionals in the country. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Patricia.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, and we are concluding Women's Month, so happy Women's Day.
Thank you very much. Happy Women's Month to you
With
too.
nothing for men. We are protesting now.
Sorry.
I saw it coming. It's good to have you on Labor Matters.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Amazing. Mr. Kabanda, I am glad to have you in the studio, and I was even asking myself if you make it today. I mean, I saw something on your social media. You posted something that you're now an international speaker going to Zanzibar. That's a lot. That's a lot to speak at an important event. If maybe you can just tell us or take us through the important thing that we are yet to hear right here on Labor Matters. I know our viewers are also eager to learn what Mr. Kabanda is going to do in Zanzibar. If you can just take us through.
Yes, so thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I came back yesterday.
Amazing.
I was invited to speak at an event. I was really honored, and it was a great privilege. I was invited by the Macroeconomic Financial Institute for Southern and Eastern Africa, MEFMI. They are based in Zimbabwe, and so they look at capacity building for central banks in Southern and Eastern Africa, as well as ministries of finance. So it was a great experience. It was a meeting for directors of HR in central banks. We had the member countries. There are about 14 countries that participate in MEFMI. We have people from Namibia, Angola, Mozambique. We have people from Malawi, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya, and so many other countries. So it was really a very overwhelming experience, a great experience for me to be in the room, sharing with those industry leaders. But also it was also an opportunity for me to also get a lot of insights from them, because we are talking of people with over 30 years of experience in the various central banks and ministries of finance. So it was a great experience, and so I just want to once again appreciate a lot to MEFMI, who brought me on board, and also to all the HR leaders that we interacted with in that workshop.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
To our viewers, you know who to talk to if you want to have HR consulting and mentorship. You know, just call Mr. Kabanda. I mean, he's just there speaking. That's a big event.
It was very big.
Yeah.
At first, it was when they called me from Zimbabwe. I'm thinking, how am I going to manage this? Because
and you did it.
Yeah, because I was at first thinking this is so huge. But then afterwards, we look at the topics. There were topics that are around my areas of expertise in terms of psychology. There were areas on emotional intelligence where we're discussing, areas to do with leadership and management, We also tackled the areas to do with artificial intelligence. As you know, AI is literally changing the way we are doing our work in terms of how fast an employee can actually do your reports, do various things with artificial intelligence. So it was a great experience, and like I said, it was something I was very, very happy with, and I was also glad to hear the feedback from the participants that they were happy with the discussions that we were having with them, and some of those things are actually things that are affecting them in the various countries. So it was a great experience.
Amazing. We are so proud of you. If we can now talk about our topic of discussion for today, Mr. Kamanda. If we may start by defining what mentorship is all about and how does it differ from coaching. I believe we usually interchange these things when it comes to mentorship and coaching. We think it's one and the same thing. If you can just define it, if they're one the same or they are different, you can just tell us.
Yeah, so when it comes to mentorship, you're really looking at the long-term personal and career development of a person. And I know, like you've said, sometimes we use, even people are called coaches or life coaches, marriage coaches. Mentorship is significantly different, because on the coaching side, the person that is coaching you, basically they use certain principles, or they don't have to use their personal life experiences and things of that nature. They could go into a program. Let me give an example. You have the football coach, for instance. The football coach needs to understand the game of football. Not necessarily that they were the top scorers, so now because they were the top scorers, so now they will be the coach and so on. But they have to understand the technical aspects of football. They have to understand the skills required, the mental issues required, and all those things. And then they coach the team. So coaching really focuses on these very structured programs and the objectives, and sometimes they are short in nature. When it comes to mentorship, you are really creating either a one-on-one or a one-to-a-group kind of relationship, where the mentor is actually now taking the person through step by step in terms of what the person might want to be mentored in. So if, for instance, if it's career we are talking about, the person will be helped, okay, at this stage where you are, where maybe you are an officer, and your desire, because you're looking at the long-term, or both short-term and long-term career aspirations of the person, you are then helping them to say, this is where you go, this is what you do, these are the kind of skills you need to start acquiring. And really the mentee is the one who has to put in their best in order to achieve that which we have discussed. I must make mention that I'm actually a simple example of a product of mentorship. I have a lot of mentors. Because people say, no, because Mr. Kawanda, maybe for you there's nothing, you just do things as you... No. I have a lot of mentors in various fields. My first professional mentor, even before I talk about the first professional mentor, I would say my parents, for instance. They were mentors. They will help me in certain things at an early stage. Even up to now, they still call, making sure that I'm grounded. I'm not being all over the place. So my professional mentor, the first one, was my first boss, Mr. Nyatando. Up to now, I call him. So he took me through the areas of HR, and he mentored me on how to handle clients, how to do organization structures. So there's a technical side as well as all the other skills that are required. I have over the years worked with various superiors who have also mentored me in various areas in terms of even understanding businesses. What does it mean? You can be a great HR, but you don't have an understanding of how business actually operates. So you end up being an HR who's always just talking on one side. Maybe you're just talking on the side of employees instead of also understanding the needs of the employer. Or sometimes you just take on the side of the employer without really balancing the needs of the employees. So I have a lot of mentors. Even now, my former boss, Mr. Karuba, is also one of my mentors. I also have various other mentors that I call upon. Some are even just colleagues because they go through different experiences. So I will ask them, okay, so how do you do this? Some are technical things that they have to actually teach me. So mentorship is actually a great and important thing for any person who wants to develop in their careers.
Amazing. Coming to you, Ms. Kamdole, I believe we have to put quite a number of things if we are to get mentored, or if we might want to see it come to fruition. With your vast knowledge, and for mentorship to work well, what is expected of the mentees? What are they supposed to put in place? Are there measures which they have to put in place?
Thank you so much, Ms. Patricia, for that beautiful question. Before I even say anything on the question, I want to say I am a proud product of Mr. Kawanda here. He is my mentor. He's got his mentors, but he's also my mentor.
Amazing.
Yes, and then when it comes to like a mentee, what is expected of you? There are quite a number, but the things that I would list to be the topmost is one, a mentee is the passion that a mentee has in terms of their career development, their determination, and the focus. So you can't just, you can't be wasting your mentor's time. You need to know yourself, what do you want, where do you want to go in the long term, and which areas do you want to develop, so that when you have a mentor, or when you pick to be mentored, you don't waste the mentor's time, and you also have a clear vision of what you want to become in future. So you will be making sure that you'll be asking the right questions to the mentor, and that is going to definitely help you in whichever way that you want to grow in your career. So you need to make sure that you are focused, you are determined, and you've got passion. Because when you go to the mentor, you ask the questions, they'll guide you quite all right, but you also need to do your homework. So if they give you something to do, maybe they say, okay, you need to do a research on ABCD. They've already given you something to do. If you are not dedicated, you just say, okay, it was just a mere conversation. It dies like that. And then the next time you go back and ask the same question, imagine how the mentor is going to feel about it. Like, we just spoke about this last time, Ines. Why are you asking me the same question? So if you are not dedicated, you won't be able to research. So as a mentee, your effort into being dedicated, making sure that whatever you talk about with your mentor, you put it into practice, and do your research, do your homework, so that next time you come with a different question, and that is how you develop.
Amazing. So Ines has mentioned determination as one of the measures to put in place for a mentee. Now coming to you, Mr. Kawanda, for mentorship to work well as well, what is expected for the mentor this time around?
Yeah, on the side of the mentor, it's really important that you are very clear. First of all, it's about your commitments. You look at your time, what time do I have actually to start something? Because if you are working or you're into business or whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're so busy. So sometimes, for me, I always say, ensure that before you take up mentorship, you actually can find time to dedicate to that thing. Because it should never be taken like it's just a by the way thing, because it's a serious thing. So looking at time is very critical, so that you can then dedicate some time to the mentees that you want to work with. It's also important to look at the numbers. Sometimes you can have like requests from so many people want to be mentored, but then you have to look at the quality. What then happens when you have to take up so many? Because it feels very nice, okay, now I have so many people that are meant, but then what is actually the quality? For me, I'm very particular about issues to do with specific help. Even for me, there are times I would walk out of a meeting and I would call my various mentors over specific issues. Oh, boss, I have this, and with the mentors, you also are telling them even your thoughts about that issue. Not necessarily that you're always just asking them to say, what do you think? So for the mentor side, it's important that there's that structure that they put in, so that things are done very well. Also, the fifth issue I can talk about from the mentor side is to ensure that they don't end up trying to clone themselves in that other person that is coming to them, because sometimes there are those risks where you want to, it's like parents, you failed to go to do nursing or to be a doctor. Now you are pushing your child. Hey, you should be studying. Hey, or you want to be a lawyer. No, so the mentors to make sure that they do not start to force their version of themselves on that person, so that that person can grow to become the best version of themselves.
Well explained, Mr. Kwanda. To our viewers, if you have any questions, comments, or contributions, please use the number which is right on your TV screen. Drop us a text message, or rather go on our Facebook page, which is KBN TV, and drop us a comment right there. Coming to you, Miss Ines, I believe it's quite challenging when it comes to finding a right mentor, because you don't have to choose on anyone and just be picky and okay, can get me that by this person. So from your vast experience or knowledge, or from what has been said, how can professionals find the right mentor at a stage of their career?
Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, it has to do with your long-term goals. If you know what you want to do and in which area you want to develop, it's very easy for you to check your networks and see who can I go to in this particular field. For example, HR practitioners, we work in different industries, and believe you me, working in different industries also come with different challenges when it comes to how to handle human capital. So I can't go to someone, I'm in a different industry, let's say I'm in construction. I can't go to someone into a banking industry to seek for guidance or any assistance when it comes to how to handle human relations in a construction industry, because these are two different set of industries, and they are, in as much as we use the same employment code and whatnot, but there are certain things that are specifically for construction. So if I need to develop my career in HR practicing where construction is concerned, I need to look at a mentor who has got experience, or they've been working in construction industry for a long time, because obviously they understand. And if I am certain to say, if I go to this person with this kind of challenge, I'll tell them what I'm facing, and I'll tell them, as you say, to say, sometimes mentees, we also go with our own views to say, oh, so I think, I believe I can do ABCD, but I need your help. Do you think, since they've got experience, they'll be able to guide in those lines, and through that you'll be able to pick and, you know, see to say, okay, this is the right way to go. So you need to look at the environment where you are before you pick on which mentor to go through.
Well explained. Coming to you, Mr. Kwanda, are there any challenges in this mentorship topic we're talking about, or like confidentiality and so on, and how can they be overcome if in a situation where a person gets to find challenges when it comes to mentorship?
Yes, so mentorship is one of the things that, like, now we've been talking about, and really for you to thrive in the corporate world or whichever professional life you can be in, it's important that you look at people that can work with you. And we say this a lot to especially young people as you rise. Sometimes you start thinking, I know a lot, yeah, I can research a lot, but believe you me, there is a lot to learn in this life, a lot to learn everywhere. And so the mentors actually start to help you. People that have gone ahead, sometimes they don't have to be very successful or no, not successful, but they have experienced something, so which you can ask them and maybe become better. So when it comes to the challenges that in that space, the first issue is really an issue around having clear expectations, like I mentioned. Are the expectations clear for the mentee and the mentor? Because sometimes you have different expectations, and sometimes you could have mentees who want, they believe you are like the person who, whenever they call, you have to drop everything you're doing, you know, regardless whether you're in a meeting, you're making a presentation, you need to come out and maybe respond to their issues. So that aspect about synchronizing the expectations become extremely important. Sometimes also the mentor would be expecting certain things from the mentee. Again, it has to be made very, very clear. So the first meetings are actually very critical to ensure that there is clear focus for both the mentee and the mentor. The second issue will be now around how you also treat confidential information. Remember, once we start this mentor-mentee relationship, there is now an issue around the information that is being shared. One, the mentee is going to share their personal information, things that are really about them. The mentee is also going to share personal, work-related information, because remember, this is mentorship in relation to careers. On the other side, the mentor is also going to share their personal information. Remember, it's different from the coach. The coach doesn't need to tell you anything about how let's say the coach for marriages, they don't have to tell you how it is going in their place. They just tell you, this is the principle, these are the things you should do. But for the mentor, it's different. The mentor also starts to share personal information about how they have dealt with certain things. They may also share information about companies and institutions they worked for before. So there is this, the mentee side and the mentor side. There is a lot of exchange of information, and this is where now we say it's important that you formalize things, you make things very clear about matters relating to confidentiality, because you will find a situation where the mentee, especially maybe after the mentorship finishes, and you've seen that woman there, you're just saying she's driving nice things, but if the things you know, the things I know, you know them, you'll be surprised. So sometimes even with the mentor, it's something. The mentor could be there saying, you're just seeing him like that. That chap, when he came and he told me what happens in their company, Jesus. Now, confidentiality is one of the issues that we really, like you mentioned, it's one of the things we emphasize, because that relationship, the people, both parties, the mentor and the mentee, they are sharing in a space which is considered to be safe. And so there has to be that clear understanding. And if a company wants to really start mentorship and things like that, it's important that they look into all aspects, because it is going to, at some point, end up with information that is not supposed to be known. It is ending up being known by others. The other issue is really, like I said, around the risk around how the mentor starts to mentor the mentee. That is, how are you actually doing it? Again, mentors need to be helped, because again, it's not just a matter of someone, because okay, this person has 10 years experience, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, so they are automatically qualified to be mentors. They also need to be somehow trained. If you can sit them down, help them to understand their role, because there are a lot of responsibility that come with being a mentor. It's not, again, it's not just a qualification, is not just a number of years of experience. You can actually have a mentor who has maybe 2 years or 3 years. All they are sharing with you is maybe how they have dealt with their own problems and even what they think could be done. But the mentor has to know what is expected of them. So that aspect of the mentor having the necessary training and the knowledge is very, very helpful. Otherwise, you can find that the mentor starts to now try to, like I said, they are put.
Most of the time, I'll give a good example of my mentor here. And unfortunately for us, we don't even have time to say, okay, Ines, you can't call me at this time. Sometimes when I just get like, okay, I have this situation and it's urgent, what am I going to do? Mr. Owen, hello, sir, this is a situation. Sometimes it's not all the time that a mentee would have their own views on how to go about the situation, especially that as you are working, you encounter new challenges every day, especially for HR practitioners not knowing others. But yeah, we encounter new challenges quite each and every day. And sometimes your growth depends on those challenges. So when you have a good mentor, you know to say, I know that Mr. Kavanda will definitely give the right guidance on this. I don't hesitate to pick my phone. If he's busy, then I'll send a whole novel of messages on his WhatsApp, and I'm always confident that he's going to get back to me at the right time, when if at all he's busy, or he'll get back to me. And I am always very positive that he will definitely give the right guidance. So yeah, having a good mentor is something that when one has, you need to make sure that you keep on asking a lot of questions, and as you are getting the answers, you also look ahead and check to say, what else do I need to learn in this aspect? You look into your office, you look into your profession. Do I know how to do employee development appraisals? Do I know how to do training? Do I know how to approach my bosses and where decision making is concerned? How do I go about ABCD? So when you have a good mentor, that is the opportunity. You look at all the aspects of your profession that you think, I think I'm not good in this, I'm not good in that, and not only what you may have now, but also what is incoming. As I've said, as you are working, as you are everyday challenges, they give you a new aspect to see an opportunity to grow. So a good mentor will definitely guide you through that, and you'll be good to go.
Amazing. I believe the viewers and I are jealous of you, Miss Ines.
Oh,
Got yourself a good mentor. Coming to you, Mr. Kavanda. In what ways can mentorship prepare an individual for a supervisory or maybe a management role?
Yeah, so when you started work, it's sometimes you could start, at the lowest level. There are those who are lucky they found themselves in a management position, but for many people they start at the lower level. So when you look at lower level positions, you are basically looking at more of technical skills. So if you are, let's say, an economist or an analyst, there's a lot of demand for your analytical skills or your technical skills. Or if you're an engineer, you are a journalist, you are expected at that point to really be very good with your job, and that's what you'll be appraised on. That's the way when it comes to you keeping the job or your contract being renewed. They are really focusing so much on your technical capabilities, and so some build the resilience and the ability to now say, okay, what is not happening here? How can we guide this employee? So supervision and management skills become extremely important. Now for the mentor, if you are that employee who is in that position, or where you are going to either be promoted or you are already in that position, having a mentor becomes extremely important. Like I was saying, even in my life, I have had mentors at every stage, and those are the people you are calling. I remember at some point I was asked, I think that was 2012 or so. I called back my boss because we were in a very heated meeting. So I'm putting across my ideas, and my CEO is like, no, we don't agree with that. So I'm talking, and okay. I said, okay, give me a minute. I walked out of the meeting. I called my boss also, my former boss, my mentor, Mr. Nathaniel. I said, there's this issue. I'm thinking of it like this, but I'm not so sure if I'm on a firm ground. Then he says, yeah, have you checked this? Have you checked this? Have you checked it? Oh, then I realized, okay, I see. There was an issue I didn't check. Walked out back into the meeting with a lot of confidence. I told my CEO boss, I think give us time. We need to now look at this. So, long story short, afterwards, everything was approved. Bottom line, whatever level you are reaching, the mentors will really help you, especially when it comes to how best you manage. Because they have gone through some of the challenges of managing people, they can then help you. Sometimes it's directly through sharing their experiences, how they manage their own bosses, how they manage the people below. Sometimes even how do you manage your friends, because now you are a boss to them. How do you make sure that they can still work and not say, in our language you say, boy, my friend, why are you trying to be to feel you're so special? No, through your mentorship, the mentor could help you in terms of how do you deal with even your colleagues, how do you deal with employees, to make sure that you are kind enough to help them, assertive, but you're also not just being like shouting and doing everything to frustrate the employees. So the mentors could really help you a lot in terms of sharpening your management and leadership skills, And that's why, especially as you go high, it's better that you have someone to talk to, someone that you can tell, look, this is what I'm thinking about this issue. I don't know what you think about this issue, and then they can actually advise you in which way to go.
Well explained, Mr. Wanda. Coming to you, Miss Ines, you've been in HR. I'm now thinking, do you think that mentorship can also, or maybe does it have also an impact on HR practitioners, and how can they go about it if they need such help? Or you people you don't need to be mentored, you're just okay as HR practitioners?
Well, Patricia, thank you. Though I feel like I've already answered that question. Going back to something that I said earlier, as HRs, is a specialist in his own field of consultation and ABCD and a lot more, and then there might be another one out there who is also an expert in just a particular field. So if you want that particular field, you know, to say, okay, if I go to this other person, I know I'll get the rightful guidance. So that's how it is. As HR practitioners, we definitely need mentors at each and every level, even from one industry to another, so that we don't find ourselves held up in a cage where we fail to perform our professions to the fullest.
Well explained. I believe our viewers were thinking, no, HR practitioners don't need mentors, because if people, you always give us the knowledge and whatnot, so we're thinking, no, you don't need mentors at all. Coming to you, Mr. Kanda, what is the significance of mentorship at top level when we talk of the CEOs and whatnot?
Yeah, so mentorship really is not just for young professionals, because sometimes people say this is really just for young people, so you help them to find their feet. No. Mentorship works at a lower level, middle management, even top executives. Because at every stage, one of the things you have to understand in life, that at every stage you reach, there are different requirements, different demands. The knowledge you used to have, let's say as a manager, when you become a director, the demand is now for you to think more strategically. When you're a CEO, there's how do you deal with the boards, how do you deal with the stakeholders, the media, and how do you deal with a lot of demands. So strategic decision making, what are you going to be doing? How do you arrive at a decision when you have these competing demands? Maybe your company is facing financial challenges. Who do you pay first? Is it the suppliers? Is it the employees? What exactly starts to happen? At certain points, you need to now have a mentor that can also help you. There are people that have gone before you. They have been stakeholders. So do you actually have an understanding? You can be a great engineer as a CEO. You can be a great accountant as a CEO, but have you actually understood how to manage the various stakeholders? Have you actually understood how to translate the mandate of the institution, and how to actually now make sure that the employees below you are working with you to achieve the mandate of the institution?
Well explained, Mr. Wanda. Coming to you, Ms. Ines, you did mention saying that whenever you're having, I don't know if it's your meetings and you just need help, you call or either drop a text to your mentor until he gets to respond and whatnot. So I also want to find out, can one talk to their mentor even when they have maybe just personal challenges away from work and whatnot? Is it okay for you just pick your phone rather and call your mentor if you're having personal challenges?
Well, absolutely, I would say yes, because if you heard in Mr. Kavanda's definition of mentorship, there is a relationship that actually starts going on between the mentor and the mentee. And believe you me, that relationship does not only cover professionalism or career development, but it goes way beyond that, because from the way you're interacting, you become more confident, and you become more, let me say, connected to this person. And whenever you have personal challenges, definitely you can confide in them depending on how you relate, of course, because, well, who knows, maybe there are other mentors that don't have that personal relationship with their mentees. So depending on how you relate with your mentor, I'm sure you're able to tell, or you're able to know, to say, I think here I can, this issue I can discuss it with Mr. Kavanda. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And if I bring it to him, obviously if he's not comfortable, he'll tell me to say, Ines, I think maybe refer me to another person. Of course, should be someone within our network or the same association, if he feels he might not be able to. But I believe before you go to someone with a problem or a challenge, you are always confident, because from the way you relate, you're able to tell, to say, I believe I'll get some guidance.
Yeah.
So it's definitely okay.
Amazing. Mr. Kanda, coming to you, what is your advice to the mentors on how they should ensure that they do not end up forcing the mentee to be exactly like the mentor?
Yeah, it's really what we
talked about it.
Because it happens a lot of times. You
Yeah.
want to say, you start to think, this person should just be like this.
I'm going to be the next one.
No. You just have to be like me. Me being your mentor, you just have to imitate everything I'm doing. Yeah.
Because then you remember, we're talking about personal and career growth. That individual, the mentee, is an individual at first. So your job is just to help them on their path, so that they can really become the best version of themselves. Otherwise, you start to crown everybody to look like you or think like you. Then it becomes a challenge, because you're not empowering them. Imagine tomorrow you're dead, then what happens?
Yeah.
Because then you're no longer there. So for me, I don't believe in that. It's important.
Settling in my office. So it's really a good thing that organizations should start implementing mentorship. For those that do not have, they should start implementing mentorship programs, because like Mr. Owen mentioned, what we learn at school is not everything. Your level of education and whatnot is not everything. Sometimes it takes experience for you to understand why A is A and not B. So only people that have got a certain level of understanding, they're the ones that can guide you or explain to you, so that you can also bring in your own uniqueness in trying to do things differently. But at least you could have been guided to say, okay, we are doing this because of A, B, C, D. So definitely it's a good thing that companies should implement mentorship programs internally.
Yeah. Mr. Kanda, can mentorship have an impact on organizations' performance, and how will artificial intelligence affect mentorship?
Yeah, so for companies, like what Ines has said, it's important that they have structured mentorship programs which have specific rules and guidelines, because sometimes also these mentorships can become a problem if they're not well managed, especially where the expectations are not clear between mentors and mentees. So yes, if the programs are even within the institution, they are managed very well, it definitely leads to a lot of employee engagement, because people are now going to be happy that, look, the institution has got interest in my well-being and my development and my career and things of that nature. So the mentorship also leads to that kind of level of satisfaction and engagement for staff, which then could also lead to high productivity in the institution. So it's important that those things are looked into. Of course, the issue of AI, it's a big topic. Probably we'll have some good time when we start discussing what AI can actually do in every aspect of work. Really, in mentorship, again, it's a matter of just looking at how mentors and mentees can prepare themselves and the institutions as a whole in terms of the impact of artificial intelligence in the way they do things. At the end of the day, what should be looked at is increasing efficiency and being able to adapt to the changes that are coming, so that then at the end of the day, the individual, the mentee becomes better, even the mentor becomes better, and the institutions as a whole really become better and more profitable, or they give better services.
It's been an amazing conversation, I must make mention, and I believe our viewers have really enjoyed this particular conversation, and it's unfortunate that we have to go. It's unfortunate that we have to go, but I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm looking forward if we can have a part 2 of such kind of a conversation. But if you can give us your last remarks, Miss Ines, before we wrap up this conversation.
It's been a pleasure being on this show, and indeed I have also learned 1 or 2 things from my mentor once again. Yes, there are certain things I did not understand, so now I've gotten it, like, oh, so that's why that was going in that way. But yes, viewers, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you've really learned 1 or 2 things from this great program. And yeah, keep tuning into Labor Matters every Sunday.
Amazing. Mr. Konde, last remarks.
Yes, really to just encourage individuals, those who want to take up these mentorship programs. Again, within the institutions, it's important that the mentorship programs are well structured. For those taking up mentorship outside of their institutions, again, it's a matter of making sure that those, again, are well structured. Mentor and mentee relationship is well defined, and what will be expected. At the end of the day, it's really to ensure that we keep on improving ourselves. Every interaction that you have with someone, it should really help you to improve yourself in one way or another. I interact with a lot of people, even from this same event I was talking about. It also helped me, it shaped me in a particular way through the feedbacks, and also just seeing that, okay, there's this area to keep on improving, this area to keep on improving. At the end of the day, everything that we do on this earth and in our careers, we should focus on improving ourselves all the time.
Thank you very much for making time to be on Labor Matters.
Thank you.
Amazing to our viewers. You've been watching Labor Matters right here on KBN TV. If you've just joined us, please, you can go on our Facebook page, which is KBN TV. We're streaming live this program, so you can go on Facebook and watch it from the start. I have been your host, Patricia Chilemko, and today we're looking at an amazing, interesting topic, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Until next week, same time, same channel, please remember to follow Mr. Owen Katongo Kabando on all his social media platforms. We're talking of TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn, because you don't want to miss anything special about him when it comes to HR consultants and so on. I have been your host again, Patricia Chilemko. Until next week, it's goodbye.